Revenge films.
Ever since I was a little kid, I was good at sports, and I started playing on a soccer team in middle school. Even in college, I continued playing soccer because I was really good at it. Since I'd been playing since elementary school, I was able to become a starting player even as a freshman. There were a few seniors that didn't like that, but I had worked really hard to get to where I was, so I tried not to let it bother me, and I put my all into the game. Then one summer, we had a team training trip, so the whole team got on a bus to go to our overnight training camp. During the day, we would be running or working out, playing practice matches and putting our all into soccer. And at night, we all cooked together like a camp. At the end of the day, we decided to light up some fireworks. I hadn't played with fireworks since I was a little kid, and I was really excited as I grabbed some sparklers with my teammate. But then suddenly, I saw a firework pointed towards my face, and that flame hit me directly in the eye, and I was overcome with an unbearable pain. Ah! I collapsed on the spot, and the coach immediately called an ambulance, and I was rushed to the hospital. There I was told that I had lost one eye. When the doctor told me that, I still couldn't really understand what had just happened to me. What do you mean, lost an eye? Are you saying that I'm never going to be able to see out of this eye again?
Unfortunately.
I was so shocked that my mind went blank. My parents had come running to the hospital, and when they found out about my eye, my mother broke down in tears on the spot. My father demanded the coach to call the parents of the student that had pointed the firework at my face. That senior who had pointed the firework at me was a guy named Kevin, and at the hospital, he said,
"It wasn't on purpose! I was just waving the fireworks around for fun, and it just so happened that it flew over to Michael's eye!"
Even his parents said,
"See? My son is saying that it wasn't on purpose! We'll pay a settlement fee as well as the medical expenses. So for the sake of my son's future, please stop saying that it was my son's fault!"
After that, they did in fact pay for the medical fees, as well as a settlement fee. But because his parents owned a very large business, I'm sure that paying any amount of money was nothing to them. And plus, I didn't know that it wasn't on purpose, but I thought that my life was over because I wouldn't be able to see out of my left eye anymore, even though I had worked so hard my whole life to play this sport. I had nothing left but devastation. The other students were worried about me, but I still wasn't able to give up on soccer. That's why, when I got back to school, I tried to go back to practice. But having lost vision in one eye was a lot more of an inconvenience than I thought, and especially because I wouldn't be able to see anything on my left side. I couldn't tell if there was an enemy or a teammate there at all. Of course, I couldn't see my teammates, so there was no way I could play a game. I had more motivation than anybody else, but my coach said,
"Let's take a break at the bench."
I was so upset I didn't know what to do with myself. Kevin did apologize to me, but after that one apology, he went straight back to playing soccer as usual. My coach told me that even though I couldn't play soccer, I would be able to support the other teammates in other ways, but I couldn't find it in me to do that yet. There was no way that I would be able to support the other players when I wouldn't be able to play myself. Even though everybody around me was saying that I should be able to go pro in the future, because I lost one eye, I lost sight of that road as well. I started to become self-destructive and stopped going to college. However, my childhood friend, Michelle, showed up in my room one day.
I understand how upset that you must be that you can't play soccer anymore, but there's a lot more to life than that. You still have so much potential in all kinds of ways,
she said. At that time, no matter what anybody said to me, it meant nothing to me, and I snapped back at Michelle and kicked her out. Then one day, on TV, they were interviewing a former athlete who had lost a leg due to an accident and was no longer able to play sports and had become a sports doctor. At that time, I was eating a meal and was just watching TV like background noise. But by the time I realized, I was completely focused on the interview and I was fixated on this person. After I saw that on TV, even though I thought I wouldn't be able to be involved with soccer because I lost an eye, I was really attracted to the idea of becoming a sports doctor. From that day, I gave up on playing soccer myself, but I did a lot of research on sports medicine, and before I knew it, I had started studying towards that. My friends and Michelle that were worried about how depressed I was saw a new passion in my eyes, and they were happy for me. From there, I put my all into my studies, and I begged my parents to let me restart college, but this time at medical school. Then time went on, and I was working as a sports doctor. As a sports doctor, I started to work with a lot of athletes and students across various sports. Within my patients, there were also some soccer players, some even saying that they knew me from the past and that they used to look up to me. It was a little bit embarrassing, but nice to hear. However, there were a lot of cases of injuries that caused them to become negative, as well as people who, like me, would have to bid farewell to the sport due to injury, and I really loved who I was now for being able to tell them that there were still a lot of other possibilities for them. Then one day, apparently there were talks of a reunion from my college soccer team, and I received an invitation as well. Me in the past definitely wouldn't have gone, but now, because I was living a fulfilling life as a sports doctor, I thought I wanted to see everybody for the first time in a while. When I got to the pub, of course, Kevin was there as well. However, because I worked hard, I was able to become a sports doctor and was living a great life, so I didn't resent him anymore. When I went to sit next to him, Kevin was already quite drunk.
What the hell? It's you, Michael! Damn it! I heard that you're pretty famous now as a sports doctor, even though you lost an eye!
I wanted to say, and whose fault is that? But I did my best to hold it in. I was wondering why he was already so drunk, but apparently, he had broken up with his girlfriend recently, so he was not in a good mood and was taking it out on everybody else. And then he turned back towards me, and this time he said,
I don't care if you're famous or whatever, but you better stop acting so big. At this rate, I don't know what the hell I did that for anyway.
When I heard that, I thought something must be wrong with my ears. Back then, Kevin said that he didn't do it on purpose, but this time, he definitely said he did it. I pulled out my cell phone, and I asked Kevin one more time, Are you saying that you pointed the firework at me on purpose?
Huh? Yeah, I did. Because you were just a freshman, but you thought you were so great, and I didn't like you. And plus, my parents said that if it weren't for you, I would be able to be a starting player. They said that they would clean it up as an accident, so they told me I could do it.
I recorded that all on my cell phone, and I was shaking with anger. I was really happy with myself for becoming a sports doctor, but there shouldn't have been any need for me to lose an eye because of such a petty reason like this. After that, I went straight home. A few days later, I turned that voice recording in to a lawyer, and I reported Kevin and his parents to the police. Because Kevin was drunk that night, he said,
That's a lie! I never said anything like that!
But because I had held in my anger and continued to ask for details about that time from the drunk Kevin, none of those excuses would pass. When I lost an eye, at the time, I was pretty famous as a soccer player. So when the incident happened, it had actually caused quite a commotion around town. At that time, it was written off as an accident that happened during the training camp, but this time, since Kevin confessed himself, the truth became clear, and it was taken up by the local news. Thanks to that, Kevin and his parents were arrested by the police, and their family business collapsed. Even though I lost an eye, I don't feel any devastation from it anymore. And even though I could feel some strangers whispering about me behind my back sometimes, I was much happier about the fact that I was able to hear the truth, and that Kevin and his parents were given the punishment they deserved. I later found out that after I lost my eye, Kevin was able to steal a starting lineup spot, but everybody around him only compared him to me, and that he was painfully told from all angles just how much we were on different levels, and that eventually, he couldn't take it anymore and quit. After that, no matter what he did, nothing went well for him, and that's why he was so drunk that day. I'm sure he never expected that that would end up in him exposing his own crimes. I couldn't change the fact that I had lost an eye, but now, I'm really satisfied with my life. Injuries are unavoidable when it comes to sports, but I really loved my job to help those athletes get past it, together. And that's why I'm going to continue looking up as I put my all into my job.
How was today's video? If you enjoyed it, please subscribe, like, and leave a comment. Stay tuned for more.